Once upon a time, in a perfectly ordinary suburban house built in the 1960s, there lived a girl who longed for something far less ordinary. She spent hours lost in books and movies, filled with old cottages, homes nestled in the English countryside, with thatched roofs, walls that leaned slightly with age, and fireplaces that crackled like they had something important to say. She dreamt of a life soft and slow, much like the creatures living in her picture books. She had a theory. A home wasn't just where you lived, it was a feeling, a world of its own. And if she couldn't find it, well, she would build it. Yes, that was it. If she couldn't move to the English countryside, she would bring the English countryside to her. And so, with a plan in her heart and a paintbrush soon to be in hand, she set out to turn the ordinary into something a little more magical.
Hello, my dear, lovely friends, old and new. The time has finally arrived. The moment I have been dreaming about, planning for, and quite honestly, obsessing over. The time to renovate my living room to look like an English cottage. This space has been waiting for its transformation, and today we are taking our very first, very productive steps towards something a little cozy, warm, and hopefully a little bit magical. But before we can get to the fun part, we have to deal with the reality of it all, which means tidying up. A necessary evil, but an important one. So let's begin.
Before transformation comes preparation, a necessary, if slightly tedious, ritual. Everything must go. Well, not go, just temporarily disappear. With the space cleared and the walls prepped, the stage was finally set. Almost. Okay, now it's ready. Or at least she thought so. You see, as eager as she was to begin painting the walls, something weighed on her. She knew that no cozy cottage would be complete without a little ambiance. Ah yes, the perfect cottage wall sconces, for the low, low price of selling a kidney. She thought to herself,
Maybe I can just make them myself.
ah yes, the task at hand. Removing sconces that have dutifully served their time, but lacked charm. If this cottage dream is to be achieved, one must make do with what one has, and what she has are sconces with potential, but not quite the right theme, not yet at least. Now, to achieve that coveted aged and antique look, she must get crafty. What better way than with some old-fashioned spray paint? Step 1. A deep, shadowy base, because every gilded finish needs a little darkness to shine. Step 2. A gentle kiss of metallic gold. Nothing too extravagant. After all, this is not Versailles. Step 3. A touch of ancient charm to turn the whole thing into something truly special. Step 4. A touch of illusion, because sometimes a little deception is charming, especially when it involves candle wax that isn't actually candle wax at all. With a steady hand and just the right amount of theatricality, faux wax begins to form, melting, but never truly melting. An illusion so simple, yet so convincing, it's almost magic. And finally, a golden disguise, because even fake candle wax deserves a little gilded grandeur. And now, like all great works of art, and fine cheeses, they must be left alone to age, preferably somewhere dust-free and out of reach of overly curious hands. Patience, as they say, is the secret ingredient. A wise decorator once said, "Color changes everything." And by wise decorator, she meant herself. Right now, in this moment, staring at a bucket of paint with the solemnity of a poet about to write their magnum opus, an opus in green. Some called it green, some called it beige, some claimed it shapeshifted at dusk. She called it a leap of faith. Well, there's no turning back now. The entryway was the prologue, a moody space draped in darkness, longing for something softer, something lighter, something that said, "Welcome home," instead of, "You have been warned." Precision is key. The tape must go before the paint dries completely. A fleeting window and a delicate balance. The stakes? Higher than expected. A door is only as grand as the handle that opens it. And this was the crown jewel. Did a gilded cherub light switch cover fit the refined simplicity of an English country cottage? That's questionable. Did it, however, match the slightly dramatic old-world charm of the wallpaper? Without a doubt. And for $1 at the thrift store, some things simply choose you. 3 hours, one aching arm, and a new, profound understanding of fatigue, she was about ready to throw in the roller. But no.
The living room awaits.
The same color, the same brush, the same quiet determination. The living room, like the entryway before it, was surrendering to the plan. Color drenching. A bold move. Some might call it excessive. She preferred committed. No contrast, no interruptions, just one continuous wash of color. Like stepping into a painting, or at the very least, a very well curated daydream. Was it finished? No. But was it starting to feel like something? Absolutely. And, as all great visionaries know, between the strokes of genius, one must pause for tea. At this point, I really should be finishing up the walls and the baseboards with paint. But have you ever read a novel that was just pulling you away from reality? That's where I am right now with this book. It is called The Little Shop of Grand Curiosities by Iris Lake, and it is just so great. I feel that it is so fitting, especially right now, as I'm sitting here turning my living room into this English country cottage feeling. It's like stepping into a dimly lit, forgotten shop filled with oddities and treasures and whispered secrets. It's a little whimsical, it's a little eerie, and completely enchanting. And really, if I'm committing to this cottage lifestyle, I feel that afternoon tea and a break for a book is completely mandatory. So I'm going to read one more chapter and then I'm going to get back to work. After a much-needed tea break, it was time to revisit the sconces. No longer bare, but still in need of that final touch. Armed with fabric, a glue gun, and a clear vision, these little fixtures were about to become something entirely new. The fabric, a soft floral pattern, was the perfect match. No frills, no fuss, just the right amount of charm to pull everything together. Wrinkles? Not here. Every pleat had to be crisp, like the delicate details of a cottage quilt. Then came the glue gun. Each strip of fabric was carefully applied, wrapping the shades in a floral embrace. Slow and steady, like the quiet rhythm of a home settling in. With each trim, each fold, the lampshades transformed. It was the kind of detail that made everything feel just right. Cozy, soft, and very much at home. And with that, the sconces were no longer harsh, no longer stark. They glowed softly, quietly, like the gentle glow of a well-loved home. Small changes, yes, but sometimes it's these little moments, these details, that make a room feel truly special. Are they quite as magnificent as those Anthropologie sconces? Not exactly. But in this cottage, they'll do. After a long week of transforming the space, it wasn't quite an English cottage yet. But it was getting closer, piece by piece, like a puzzle slowly coming together. And for now, that'll have to be enough.